Hello friends, I am Arpit and I am here with today's analysis. Today is 31st of October and we are going to deal with three very important topics which are in news. The first topic is star campaigner. Now as we know that there are elections in multiple states of the country, this political party BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, has released its list of 40 star campaigners. It should be noted that it is not important for us that who are these star campaigners, means you have to know the names of these star campaigners. No, this question will not be asked. But yes, you need to know that what are the provisions of a star campaigner, who is a star campaigner, what are, I would say, features of this particular tag given to a politician. So that we'll cover over here in this topic. It is completely factual in nature, nothing conceptual in that. Yes, but one or two cross facts are here. We'll check them as well. The second topic is about cloud seeding. It was a requested topic, plus it was in news also because this Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, IITM, this is in Pune. This came out with its study that cloud seeding leads to increased rainfall. In 2018-19, there was an experiment also done by IITM in Solapur, Maharashtra, which is on the leeward side of Western Ghats. Leeward side means less rainfall is there. There they used cloud seeding methods to create rain. So, cloud seeding basically is a artificial method of creating rain. The rain is real, water is there, but yes, rain only happens when the clouds they get formed and they condense around a solid particle, that is nuclei. But what if that solid particle is not available in ample? The clouds will be there, but rainfall will not happen. As a result, less rainfall will be there, and dry seasons, droughts, or deficit situation will be there. Now in this cloud seeding method, we drop these kind of seeds. These are either silver iodide seeds or these are, I would say, dry ice. These provide that nuclei, or these provide that artificial solid medium through which or around which the clouds accumulate and they condense and finally they come down as rain. That is cloud seeding. We'll study in detail the applications of cloud seeding as well as the challenges associated with cloud seeding. We'll be covering over here in this topic. Then the next is small satellite launch vehicle. Per se not in news, but yes, it is very important because since last year this has been under testing and it is almost deployed also in ISRO. What is the significance of small satellite launch vehicle? Actually, there were two launch vehicles: polar satellite launch vehicle, geosynchronous satellite launch vehicle. The third which has been developed is small satellite launch vehicle by ISRO. What is its significance? What is its importance? We will see in this particular topic. The star campaigner. That person is nothing but a person who is having too much credibility among the public, too much popularity among the public. Those are those politicians. And political parties, they use these people for mobilizing votes. If you ask me, is there a law which defines who a star campaigner is? No, there is no law which defines what a star campaigner is. But yes, the Election Commission of India regulates the activities of star campaigners. Like for example, Narendra Modi is a star campaigner for BJP. Rahul Gandhi has been labelled as a star campaigner for Indian National Congress. So likewise, all political parties are allowed to have star campaigners, but just there's a rider that the national parties, there are around 6 national parties currently, or whatever national parties there are, they are allowed to have 40 star campaigners. And why this is in news? Because there are state elections in Madhya Pradesh, and for that elections, BJP has announced its list of 40 star campaigners. So that is why it was in news. So let us look into the details of this. Who is a star campaigner? A star campaigner is a popular vote seeker in an election for a party. There is no law defining the star campaigner. As I told you, no law is defining what star campaigner or who star campaigner is. They are nominated by the respective political parties and they follow guidelines issued by the Election Commission of India, under the Model Code of Conduct. They have to follow these guidelines. And one notable fact over here is that, this expenditure on the campaign of star campaigners is not added to the candidate's spending limit. This candidate's spending limit is different for different levels, I would say. Like MP is allowed to, spend this much, MLAs are allowed to expend this much whenever elections are there. But, when a star campaigner will go for campaigning, expenditure will happen then also. Now, that expenditure should not be added to the star campaigner's kitty, because that star campaigner is popular, is going for seeking votes for the party, not for himself. His constituency, whatever he'll do campaigning over there, the expenditure done in his respective constituency or her respective constituency, that will be counted as his or her expenditure, not when he is going for campaigning in other constituencies as star campaigner. So this is something which has to be noted as a fact. Cloud seeding. Now just imagine, clouds are there on your head, but rain is not there. This kind of situation occurs when the clouds, they do not, I would say, find a solid mechanism, or I would say a nuclei around which they can condense. Rainfall only happens after the clouds, they intensify, condense around a nuclei and precipitate in the form of water or rainfall on the ground. Now, in this scenario, artificial nuclei are provided. Artificial nuclei are provided by spraying these nuclei in the air around the clouds. Then these clouds get accumulated around that solid nuclei, that crystal, condense, precipitate and come down in the form of rain. This method, while you are listening to it, it seems that it can, eradicate many problems. Less rainfall, do this. Drought-like situation, do this. It can also mitigate pollution in the air, because when rainfall happens, fog and all dissipates. So if there is smog, to do this, so it will precipitate, that it will disappear, the pollution will disappear. But there are consequent challenges as well. Presently, we don't know what impact it is going to have on our ecology. We also don't know, how pollution is going to be, increased or decreased due to this. Anything can happen, because for seeding, for those what particles we are inserting, they are either silver iodide or they are dry ice. Dry ice is form of carbon dioxide only. Now in places where cloud seeding has been practiced, we have seen traces of silver iodide on the ground, which is causing pollution. In case of dry ice, it can act like a greenhouse gas and cause or aggravate global warming. So we need to consider all these things. Here in this scenario, there is one institute named as Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, which is based in Pune, that has said that cloud seeding increases rainfall. So we can use this method cautiously. So let us look into it. IITM Pune demonstrates cloud seeding can produce rainfall. The approximate cost of producing water through cloud seeding was 18 paisa per litre. The cost will drop to by more than 50% if we use indigenous seeding aircraft. What is seeding aircraft? We will see. But let's say before that, what is cloud seeding? It is the process of spreading either dry ice or more commonly silver iodide aerosols into the upper part of clouds to try to stimulate the precipitation process and form rain. Now, how does it happen? See, this aircraft is there. This aircraft flew and left or spread these silver iodide aerosols where the clouds were already there. Silver iodide can be used or dry ice can also be used. Now these solid particles, they will act like solid surfaces on which the clouds will get attracted and they will condense. After condensation, they will precipitate in the form of rain on the ground. If we would not have spread these dry ice or silver iodide, these clouds would have been formed, but rainfall would not have been there unless and until these clouds would have found some solid particles around which they could condense. So it is basically an artificial methodology for that, for causing rain. An aircraft injects silver iodide or other substances into the atmosphere. Now around these substances, these clouds come and condense. The chemicals mimic particles that serve as surfaces for condensation that creates water droplets. After condensation, water droplets are formed and these water droplets fall on the ground in this manner. Now once the condensation creates water droplets that are large enough, the rain will fall because the weight of that water droplets will not be able to hold them up. They will definitely, with the effect of gravity, come down as rain. So this is how cloud seeding works. Now application of cloud seeding, it can be used in agriculture. It creates rain, provides relief to drought stricken areas. Definitely it can be there. Power generation, we can use cloud seeding experiments for power generation. Like we can increase the rainfall and we can have large water bodies where water is stored and then we can release the water on turbines to create electricity. And this was being practiced in Australia, Tasmania, Australia. Then water pollution control. Now what we do, we emit a lot of effluents in the water bodies. We treat them or we not treat them. Let's suppose we are not treating them because in India mostly it is untreated waste which is left in the water bodies. That is why we are seeing the status of Yamuna and Ganga like rivers which are heavily polluted. Now these cloud seeding methods, they can cause rain by artificial, I would say, stimulation. These rains will wash off the dirt or I would say the pollutants in the water bodies and hence water pollution can be controlled. Tourism, it can promote tourism because this can transform typically dry areas to much more hospitable and enhance tourism in those areas. So this is also one such advantage we can take of this cloud seeding. Fog dispersals, hail suppressions and cyclone modification. Now you must remember that topic which we covered, Delhi, pollution in Delhi. What we were saying that solutions are, dust suppressants or water spraying. Water droplets will attract the suspended air particles and then they will drop. Fog will dissipate. In smog there are two components, smoke plus fog. Fog will dissipate and smoke particles will come down with the water. Similar kind of situation can be applied over here also. Like let's suppose there is fog-like conditions. Those are loosely, I would say clouds only, which are not finding those, I would say, solid particles. Those solid particles are sprayed. They condense around those solid particles, precipitate down, fog dissipates because it has come down in the form of water. So it can be beneficial. Then it's important to tackle air pollution. Now Delhi's example will fit exactly over here. We can, let's suppose there is smoke plus fog, smog like situations over there in Delhi. So what we can do, we can spray these silver iodide or dry ice. The fog component of smog will condense around that silver iodide or dry ice and will precipitate in the form of rain. That will dissipate the fog and smoke will go up. It can put a relief to the people over there. But however, Abhi researchers are now trying to find out ways whether this is possible or not. Then the next is challenges in cloud seeding. Potential side effects are there of cloud seeding. Chemicals used in cloud seeding might be potentially harmful. It does have the potential to harm plants, animals, and people or the environment as a whole. Then abnormal weather patterns are there, can be there. Means those areas which are not experiencing rainfall, suddenly rainfall is there. So that can lead to certain abnormalities in the atmosphere of that region, in the topography of that region also. We need to take into account this thing also. It is a costly affair, no doubt. Right now, presently, it is not, I would say, cheap. It is costly. You need an aircraft. You need, a lot of research and development also into this. In what circumstances it will be beneficial, in what it will not be beneficial, what are going to be the possible impacts of that. So overall, it is costly. And one point we saw that it can be useful in dissipating or reducing the pollution, but on the other hand, it can increase the pollution also. Why it can increase the pollution? Because agents like silver iodide or dry ice is basically carbon dioxide only. It has been found that they have been found in places near the cloud seeding projects. Residual silver discovered. This can be harmful. Dry ice can act like greenhouse gases because carbon dioxide it is. So that can cause a lot of problems. So we need to be cautious in this. But yes, this is true that rainfall can be caused by stimulation by this cloud seeding method. And IITM has demonstrated it. Small satellite launch vehicle. Now earlier what used to happen, if small satellites had to be launched, they had to wait for larger satellites to come into picture. When larger satellites accumulated, then the launch happened and small satellites were mounted just like piggybacks on that launch vehicle, that is Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle or GSLV, Geosynchronous Launch Vehicle, whatever the vehicle was. But yes, smaller satellites had to wait to get launched because it was not commercially feasible, financially feasible to launch small satellites on this big PSLV or GSLV. But now ISRO has come up with SSLV, that is Small Satellite Launch Vehicle, which will only be responsible for launching small satellites which are weighing less than 500 kg in the low Earth orbit. Now they don't need to wait. These are small launch vehicles. They need less time in assembling. They are low cost and they are specifically designed for launching small satellites which are less than 500 kgs. So this is, I would say, making the space sector more and more effective and efficient. Now the small satellites will not have to wait because small satellite launch vehicle is here which can effectively launch these small satellites. So let us get into the details of this. So what is SSLV? It is a rocket that is designed to orbit satellites weighing less than 500 kgs in low Earth orbit. Low Earth orbit is around 1000 to 1200 kilometers from the Earth's surface and 300 kg to Sun synchronous orbit. So in Sun synchronous orbit also, it can be launched. Okay. Sun synchronous orbit is basically that orbit in which means a satellite is rotating and that satellite on a particular time of a day is over a particular location. That is Sun synchronous satellites. Okay. Means let's suppose 12 noon, I know that the satellite will pass over me. Then 6 p.m. in the evening, again this satellite will pass over me. So that is become synchronous with the time, with the position of the sun. That satellite has become synchronous. That is why Sun synchronous satellites these are. You might have seen that movie Pokhran. In that Pokhran movie, there was this surveillance satellite of USA in which they were aware, Indian scientists were aware that this satellite passes over India at this particular time every day. So they used to do preparations like that, so that they do not come to know that what is happening, what we are doing. It is a 3-stage launch vehicle. 3-stage means there are 3 stages of fuel in it, configured with 3 solid propulsion stages and liquid propulsion based velocity trimming module as the terminal stage, means the last stage. Key features of SSLV. SSLV is the smallest vehicle at 110 ton mass at ISRO. It will take only 72 hours to integrate, unlike 70 days taken for a launch vehicle in PSLV or GSLV category. Only 6 people will be required to do the job instead of 60 people. So this again is making it efficient. The other features include flexibility in accommodating multiple satellites, launch on demand feasibility, minimal launch infrastructure requirements, etc. for SSLV. So isn't it good, cheap and making it more efficient? Why should the small satellites? Because they can also be very important to us. Why should they wait? So this is why it is efficient. Now, significance of SSLV. Seamless launch of small satellites can be done now. The launch of small satellites has until now been dependent upon piggyback rides with big satellites launches on ISRO's PSLV. Means when the big satellites will be launched, then only if there are any small satellites to be launched, they can be attached. So they were not given that much emphasis like these big satellites were given. The SSLV is intended to cater to a market for the launch of small satellites into low Earth orbits with a quick turnaround time. Quick turnaround time means less time is required to assemble it, less number of people are required, less time to launch. All this can happen very quickly and efficiently also. Suited for launching multiple microsatellites and supports multiple orbital drop-offs. So it is not like one orbit only, low Earth orbit it will go. It can go into sun synchronous orbit also, and multiple orbital drop-offs in a single flight can also happen. Shift the burden of commercial launches from PSLV to SSLV. PSLV can now exclusively go for big satellites or medium-sized satellites. The SSLV is likely to cost 1/4 of the current PSLV. So cost of launching is also getting reduced. This is basically the beauty of SSLV. ISRO definitely has thought in the right direction by introducing SSLV. Because in the times to come, the Indian space sector is going to expand to unimaginable heights. This is what has been the prediction for ISRO, not only by the government of India, but by the governments all across the world. Especially after the success of Chandrayaan 3, people are more and more hopeful. Especially the countries in the global south, that is developing and underdeveloped countries, they are also looking up to India because everyone needs this kind of technology. The space technology can benefit each and every country immensely, like it has been benefiting India. So these kind of arrangements need to be done well within time, and we should understand it in this holistic way. So this is it from today's session. I will be meeting you tomorrow with more such informative news pieces. Till then, you guys know very well what to do. Keep studying, keep reading, keep writing, and most importantly, keep revising. Namaste, Jai Hind.